Hello, my name is Russell Myers. Welcome to Issues Unite. So, um, Professor Richard Wolff, I have referenced on a number of occasions, and I highly respect. And he has probably referenced this in different venues where I haven't heard too much of it, but lately my time and physical and emotional energy have been limited. Anyway, yeah, he has compared the response of other countries to the pandemic with the U.S. response regarding the labor market and the economy. What other governments have done is to subsidize wages. In other words, they paid employers for the purpose of paying the wages to the employees. What this means is that those employees have primarily not been laid off. They kept their jobs, and they can return to those jobs when conditions are suitable. They also return to those jobs at the same pay range which they were earning previously. By comparison, the U.S. government response has been to increase unemployment wages or benefits. This literally acts as an incentive for employers to lay off employees, so that the employers no longer have to pay the employees at all. They don't have to guarantee those jobs. They don't have to guarantee those wages. Many of these employees have been laid off permanently, and those jobs have been permanently eliminated. Even employees that have continued to work have seen their wages and hours decrease. Across the board, wages have been reduced, benefits have been reduced or eliminated, because your benefits are tied to your employer. The government has nothing to do with it. Now, there are several downstream and future effects of all of this, which Dr. Wolff did not cover, that I want to bring up. The first of this is that between employees losing benefits such as health insurance in conjunction with the government covering treatment for pandemic patients, rates of people carrying health insurance at this time have plummeted. This has the effect of insurance companies laying off more workers. None of this means that insurance rates are going to decrease. In fact, insurance companies have already projected an increase in insurance premiums for 2021 of 40%. Never mind that they're not paying for treatment for pandemic patients. They're going to increase premiums by as much as 40%. And this doesn't even mention that most non-pandemic patients have frequently been unable to access care for acute or chronic conditions, which all serves to decrease an insurance company's outgoing expenses and overhead. The insurance companies have not mentioned what they plan to do with deductibles and co-payments, none of which have ever had a cap enacted by our government. Deductibles and co-payments can increase indefinitely to whatever any insurance company wants to say you're going to pay. Now, not in whole dollars, but in percentages, I expect insurance companies to post one of the most profitable margins in history this year. The other implication that I refer to is the acceleration of what had been happening in this country, and I have talked about for years. It's been going on for over a century. Automation of jobs. Automation has eliminated far more jobs than offshoring ever could. It has already been accelerating in recent years. It accelerates with the rate of technology. However, the pandemic has shown corporate employers the benefit of accelerating automation even further. Automated and robotic systems do not get ill and would not have to stop producing even in the face of a pandemic. They do not require medical insurance, sick time, social distancing, or protective equipment like masks or gloves. And they cannot sue their employers for not providing adequate protections. The obvious problem is that while they see this as creating short-term profit, the long-term view is what it will do to the economy, including their own total profits. Each and every job automated equals the loss of an income and therefore a consumer. People who are not employed have no money to spend. Every economy works from the bottom up, not the top down. It is consumers who spend wages, who spend income, that support any economy, every economy. If you do not have consumers spending, you don't have an economy. If there are no jobs, there are no wages. If there are no wages, there are no income taxes. There are no sales taxes. And spending grinds to a halt, which means no profits for the same corporations that are laying people off and automating jobs. So even the corporations that are still employing workers will be left with little to no choice but to lay off more workers. Municipalities that are not collecting taxes will lay off more workers. They won't have a choice. So when municipalities lay people off, they're not paying for teachers, schools, road maintenance, etc. Not to mention social programs such as senior centers, libraries, which are the only internet access for many Americans, community centers, public sanitation, public pools, and on and on. What will our communities look like when this happens? Not if this happens, when this happens, because it's happening right now and we're already seeing the effects of it. What will our communities look like? It becomes very obvious that all of these workers that lose their income are not going to be able to afford to pay rent, mortgages, utilities, etc. They won't be able to go and eat at restaurants, even fast food places, for the most part, except for the value menus. So what happens? This is a downward cycle. It keeps on going down and down and down and down. Real estate values plummet. The rich may think that they are immune from this, or upper middle class at least, think that they're immune from this, but if you're invested in a mortgage company and the mortgage company is going broke because nobody can pay their mortgage, or a property management company and nobody can pay their rent, if you have investments in these things, well, what's going to happen to your investment? You already see in the stock market how volatile it is. And if you're paying attention to where the stocks are still being supported, if you pay attention to the S&P, that is an index of the top stocks. And most of the stock market, the entire stock market, is being held up by about 5 stocks. If you eliminated those 5 stocks, what you would see is absolute devastation. So, these are important things to consider. You know, the automation of jobs, some people are all for it. There are still idiots that sit out there and say, oh, well, automation creates jobs. Really? When was the last time you saw a print setter? When was the last time you met a telephone operator? When was the last time you met a proofreader? Auto workers have been, auto production has been automated more and more and more ever since the 1970s. More and more of our production is being automated. The more you walk in, I pointed this out before, you walk into a store, one self-check register eliminates 4 to 6 jobs. If the store closes at night, you've got morning, weekday, evening, weekday. Then you've got weekend day, weekend night. There's 4 jobs. If the store is open 24 hours, then you've got weekday nights and weekend nights. There's your 6 jobs. You see a bank of 10 self-check registers. That's 40 to 60 jobs for one store. One store. Now multiply that by 100,000 stores across the country. How many jobs there have been lost to automation? Yeah, they may have one person watching those 10 registers. And that one person is making minimum wage. And you'll say, oh, well, somebody has to build them. Well, most of the time, half the time they're built in China. How many people does it take to program them? You have one program that runs all of them. So how many programmers jobs have you created? Maintenance, you've got a chain of stores, will have one or two maintenance people that go around and do the maintenance for all the stores in an entire city or region. So no, jobs have not been created. You have lost hundreds of thousands of jobs, like it or not. No, automation does not create jobs. It eliminates jobs. It eliminates wages. It eliminates tax revenue. It eliminates the ability of people to pay for a roof over their head and food on their table. So, share this video. Talk about these subjects. What is the solution? Well, first of all, I've talked about it before. Universal basic income is the most obvious solution. Yeah, capitalists hate it. But without it, capitalism itself is going to collapse. If nobody is earning wages, and nobody has an income, you no longer have capitalism at all. You have to provide for people to have an income. Otherwise, you don't have profits. You don't have capitalism. Whether it's small business or large business, you don't have capitalism. So if you keep eliminating jobs, that is capitalism killing itself, and us along with it. All right, like I said, share this video, talk about these subjects. And if you can, please donate $1 a month to help me expand this channel. And I hope you have a good day.